He was a man people in New England could relate to because for a time he lived and worked here among them. Known for his intense piety and miraculous cures, Brother Andre Bessette was the Holy Cross Brothers' first saint when he was canonized last fall. Brother Andre affected the lives of many here in Western Massachusetts, not only through his healing touch, but because of his personal connection to individuals in our own diocese. Reporter Steve Kiltonic spoke with some of them and has this story of the doorman of Notre Dame.
Brother Andre Bessette was a simple, humble man of frail health and limited education. He wasn't someone you would think of as destined for greatness. His life was dedicated to prayer and compassion for others, especially those who suffered. Brother Andre also had a deep devotion to St. Joseph. Known as the miracle worker of Montreal, he was credited with healing powers that would cure thousands. The founder of St. Joseph's Oratory in Montreal, Brother Andre was canonized as Canada's first native-born saint last October 17th at the Vatican. Father Bill Pomerleau is one of a number of individuals from Western Massachusetts related to St. Andre. His great-grandmother was a Bessette, which makes him a fourth or fifth cousin of St. Andre. Father Pomerleau, who wrote a book on the history of the Springfield Diocese, discussed Brother Andre's ties to the region. One of 10 children, Brother Andre was born Alfred Bessette in 1845 in a small town in Quebec. He was orphaned at age 12.
He really lived the life of a large part of the Catholic community here in Western Massachusetts. As a young man, he was part of the vast wave of French Canadians who came down here looking for work. He worked in factories and on farms throughout New England, mostly in Connecticut, learned a little bit of English, and went back to Quebec.
Alfred's parish priest noticed the generosity and devotion of the young man and presented him to the Congregation of Holy Cross in Montreal with a note that said, "I'm sending you a saint."
He couldn't say, "I'm sending you a great scholar or somebody who'll bring money to the community or somebody who'll bring renown to the community." But ironically enough, the pastor really hit the nail on the head when he talked about his piety.
At 28, he became Brother Andre. Because of his fragile health, he was given the task of doorkeeper at the community's Notre Dame College. For 40 years, he greeted visitors and wrote mass cards.
He was always going to be a very simple brother. But ironically enough, it was that simplicity, that very simple way of explaining the faith, that very simple devotion to Our Lady and to St. Joseph, they made him so attractive to people.
Brother Andre would listen to people's troubles and hear about their illnesses before giving each a blessing.
Very quickly, people started reporting that after they had been blessed by Brother Andre, they were getting better. They were getting healings.
He refused to take credit for the miraculous cures, saying it was through God, the faith of those healed, and the intercession of St. Joseph.
Humility is really a Christian virtue that's not so common nowadays. And even back then, Brother Andre had that rare quality of really being humble and accomplishing great things for the Lord and realizing it's the Lord that's doing these things, not his own efforts necessarily.
As word of his healing spread, he was asked to meet pilgrims at the trolley stop. But Brother Andre's dream was to build a shrine to St. Joseph.
The community wasn't opposed to that. But it was only when Brother Andre's fame grew and people started donating that they acquired the land and gradually built what is a massive, massive shrine which dominates the whole skyline of Montreal today. And he was always fond of saying he'd rather have a nickel or a dime from someone if that's what they could give to build the oratory, rather than having a large donation from an affluent person.
Brother Andre never lived to see St. Joseph Oratory completed. He died in 1937 at the age of 91. Here in one room are hundreds of crutches left behind by those who claim to have been healed of their afflictions. Anne Crum of Westfield is a third cousin to St. Andre. Her grandfather was Brother Andre's first cousin.
St. Andre visited my grandfather in North Agawam many, many times. Now, obviously, I have never met Brother Andre. He died before I was born, but my family all remembered him.
A parishioner of St. Peter and St. Casimir in Westfield, Anne is humbled to have a blood connection to a true man of God.
What an honor and what a privilege to be able to say that this holy man was a member of our family. Within our own generation, within our own locale, we have a saint. our very own personal saint. It's just such a blessing to think that someone in my lineage and has the same blood flowing in my veins, the Bessette blood. And it's just awesome. I just would hope that some of His Holiness will rub off on some of us Bessettes.
Brother Andre passed through Western Massachusetts on many other occasions. In the 1920s, he visited St. Thomas Aquinas Parish here in Springfield's North End. Today it's known as Blessed Sacrament.
He would come down and visit his relatives, and while he would be here, he would stay in the rectory here with Father Adelard Landry, the founding pastor of the parish. And as was starting to happen in Quebec, when people got wind of the fact that he was here, they would knock on the door of the rectory and ask to see Brother Andre and ask for a blessing. The parish here was always very proud because, unlike other French parishes in the neighborhood, he was here.
Brother Andre was beatified in 1982 by Pope John Paul II. On October 17, 2010, he was canonized a saint by Pope Benedict XVI. Anne Crum visited Montreal last October to celebrate the occasion.
We went to the Olympic Stadium where we gathered with 50,000 other people, a lot of religious priests, bishops, the Archbishop, and celebrated his canonization and his life.
At the oratory mass the next morning, she had a front row seat with hundreds of other Bessettes.
I knelt there and looked at the statue of St. Joseph. I looked at the picture of Brother Andre. I thought of St. Peter, and I thought, they're all in the same company. And isn't that a beautiful thing? I'm glad I went to Montreal, because this is where he was. This is where he ministered. This is where he lived. And it was a very personal feeling that I got, that this was one of their own.
Today, more than 2 million pilgrims a year visit the oratory, which stands as a legacy to St. Andre, reminding us of what each person can achieve through faith, love, and small acts of kindness. In the humble doorkeeper's own words, it is with the smallest brushes that the artist paints the most beautiful pictures. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
How wonderful to think that a man from such humble beginnings had such an impact on the lives of so many.